very lucky to be one of the first places in the world to be back to fully functioning work mode, and one of the first productions in New Zealand to be back as well. So I'm in the middle of day 2. I have a break in between my scenes, so it's perfect. I've been able to jump on a call and have a chat with you.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Ari, that's an interesting role you're playing. Are you able to tell the listeners what the thematic is, or?
Yeah, absolutely. The film is called Poppy, and it's based. It follows the story of a young Down syndrome girl who's coming of age and trying to pursue her dreams, and dealing with the obstacles that she faces due to the perceptions of the world and the people around her based on what she can and cannot do. And it has a very, very tenacious, amazingly entertaining young girl named Libby Hunsdale in the lead, they held auditions through schools, much like the Tribe did back when you were getting ready to film, and they found her out of Wanganui High School, and she does herself have Down syndrome as well, and is just an incredible young woman. But I play her older brother, who is also her caregiver, who has quite a dark start to the story, but is a great redemptive story. He's battling with alcoholism and guilt around actually being the cause of the parents' death through a car accident. So it's a really uplifting story, but the character arc for myself is quite a meaty one. It's really great, and I'm having a fantastic time.
Part areas for you, I think you do very well. That's a lovely part.
Yeah.
Really
so, and I'm not sure at this stage how it's going to be released and whatnot, but there will be information out about that at the time.
Well, when you know, you should let us know, and we'll get our Tribe Facebook and our social media onto that, and so all listeners out there, you keep an eye out for that, and
that would be fantastic.
You've been. It's interesting. Ari your mum lives in a little town close to where my vineyard is, and so Ari pops in now and then to the vineyard, and sadly I've missed you on the last couple of times you've been there, Ari. I've been traveling.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually seen you on your vineyard. I've seen Toby and Saran and the rest of the family, but not you. So I'll keep on trying.
I'll be back there, I hope, for not too long from now. And as a lot of the listeners know, I'm kind of stranded here in Australia, which isn't a bad place to be, I have to say. In the winter here, it's a deep blue sky, and you're up in a place called the Kapiti Coast, Ari. That's a nice part of the world there.
It's about an hour north of Wellington on the east coast of New Zealand. Two very, very nice places to be stuck.
That's right. And were you born in Wellington, Ari? Were you raised up in Wellington or Auckland?
I was. I was born in Wellington, in Lower Hutt, actually, really close to the old Cloud9 studios.
Wow.
My grandmother and my father actually lived right around the corner from the offices. So it was literally in my backyard.
That's terrific, isn't it? And Ari, since the Tribe, you've been very busy and you're pursuing your acting career, and maybe we could have a chat about that before we get to we got a lot of questions, and I'll get to that in a minute. But basically, after the Tribe, did you move then to the States, to LA?
Yeah, so I was season 1 through 3 of the Tribe, then went back to school, was craving a bit of normality, and went back and completed high school. I did a few jobs periodically, but nothing as long term as the Tribe through the rest of high school. And then I moved to Auckland for about 6 years and was working up there because the industry seemed to be pumping a little bit more, and was on a few different shows. I did the Shortland Street in New Zealand and an episode of Power Rangers and a few different things. And then I actually had a film that pulled me over to the United States, which led me to live there for about 6 years. And wade through the long audition lines of LA casting agents and whatnot. But then, funnily enough, the way that the industry's gone with self-tapes, I mean, all of my auditions by the end of my time in Los Angeles were for American productions through Australian casting agents coming from my New Zealand agent. So it kind of seemed like a bit of a rigmarole when to be fighting through to get an audition in the room in Los Angeles, where really I could be wherever I wanted if I was getting self-taped. So I just decided to make the jump to Sydney which has been really lovely because the lifestyle there that you can afford in Sydney, you're by the beaches, the public transport's great, the people are really lovely. It just made for a much more conducive lifestyle to mental health, I think, more than anything.
How long were you in Shortland Street for?
I did 1 year.
Okay, because that's a big show, and that's a big series around the world. I know it's on in the UK and several other countries, and
yes, it is.
That was it still is an iconic title and franchise. How did you enjoy playing? What role did you play on Power Rangers?
I loved it. I was a blue Power Ranger in my season. It was so much fun. It was incredible. I mean, ever since the Tribe, I was really lucky to have been able to take part in doing a lot of stunts and fight sequences and that kind of thing. So it's always been something that I've really, really loved to do. And we just got to really get thrown completely into it. We did a 2-week fight training camp and stunts and different things, and it was a really, really great show to work on, and especially something that while they recast every single season, the crew was such a well-oiled machine, and especially the second unit with all of the stunts and fighting and things like that. So it was just incredible. It was an absolutely amazing production to be a part of. I had so much fun doing it, and the fandom from that as well, like the Tribe, is a really, really dedicated fan base, and it's just awesome to be able to get feedback from them, and it's great.
That's good. Did you do any conventions on that area or not? Or?
Yeah, actually, that was something that I got to take part in when I was in the United States. Every 2 years, they have it's called Power Morphicon, which is the specifically Power Rangers convention that was really started grassroots from the fandom that's grown so massively. And now because the franchise has kind of been rebooted a couple of times, it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. It's really incredible. So I got to go to Kentucky, Nevada, Florida, New York, just kind of got to bounce all over the place. It was incredible.
And Ari, we get a lot of listeners who actually some want to get into the industry, some have dreams, pursuing their dreams as actors, writers, whatever. But living in LA, how did you find that for 6 years? That would have been quite an experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to quantify that period of a time. There were great times. There were really, really hard times. It's quite a process, but it's an incredible place in the sense that it really is where things can happen at the drop of a hat. There's incredible opportunities there, but there's also incredible competition too. You go to any bar, you go to any restaurant, you go to, every bartender is an actor or a singer or a model or whatever, and it can be quite hard to find yourself, to maintain a strong sense of self in amongst the crowd. It was a really amazing period of growth for me, in terms of being my own drive and motivation, and not requiring a lot of push from outside of myself, which was hugely beneficial. And I see the benefit now, but obviously going through it could be quite hard at times. But it's an incredible city. It's a beautiful place to live. My goodness, if you love sunshine and beaches, and it's incredible.
No, I spent some time out there, Ari, in my early days as a screenwriter. And again, it's the same thing. I always joke that if you're stopped by a policeman for speeding and he notices you're in the business, he'll slip you a script. Everybody's in the industry. It's Mecca. And in that way, it's a business, and I understand that, but it can tend to be a bit superficial at times. And
100%, absolutely. There is an equal proportion of the best people in the world and the worst people in the world. It attracts all sorts. But this is the amazing thing about the way that technology in the industry globally has gone, is the access really is there so much more now. While there's a lot more people doing it, there is a limitless ability to create your own content and release your own content on different platforms and gain notoriety in different ways. You're not tied to the traditional systems that have existed in the past. So it's a really exciting time.
For more information on audio dramatisations, please visit www.tribeworld.com. Keep the dream alive.